Well, hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf, and back here at the Hornby Visitor Centre, Wonderworks here in Margate. And I've filmed the Wonderworks 2 or 3 times in the past, so this time I thought we'd do something a little bit different. And as a Hornby collector, I'm sure there's lots of us out there that come into exhibitions or museums like this and walk around the cabinets trying to see if anything that we own is in the collection. So before I take a look at the layouts in here, so what I'm going to do purely for fun is pick some items out the cabinets in here. There's plenty to choose from, and see if we've got some proper Hornby collectors out there. So I'll award points for each item that's in the cabinet here, and if you have one in your collection you can award yourself some points, and then at the end we can top them all up, and yeah, on the comments leave how many points you got, and let's see how many Hornby collectors are out there. Well, let's start with a nice easy one. So the third loco in, as you can see, the Flying Scotsman there, 4472 on the tender. So if you have a Flying Scotsman in your collection, it doesn't really matter the age. This one I'm guessing is about early 90s, but yeah, any Flying Scotsman in your collection, you can award yourself a point. Well, back in 2020, Hornby released their centenary year collection, and we had everything from the clan line just at the top here to the flagship O-gauge model you see in the middle, Hornby 00 train set, amongst other releases. So anything at all from the centenary collection. I'm just going to move around because we've got the Peckett at this end and the 9F just above. So yeah, anything from the centenary collection, award yourself 1 point. This one's a little bit more difficult. So the 3.5 inch gauge R100 rocket, live steam version of the rocket, and basically I'm going to award 3 points for this. So 1 point for the rocket, 1 point for the carriage, and 1 point if you have them boxed. Well, I'm going to catch a few collectors out here. I'm going to say 1 point for any of the Beatles memorabilia. Now hopefully I didn't lose too many of you on that one, but yeah, we'll go on to the Hogwarts Castle. So if you've got a Hogwarts Castle in your collection, 1 point. Right, for the 8th point, I will basically any Eurostar, so it can be this earlier version that we see here, or one of the latter versions, but a Eurostar set. If you have one of those in your collection, award a point. Well, for point number 10, let's go a little bit old school, and over the back here you can see the Deltic. I've been working on a couple of these at the moment, and this one, Caprello from 1961. Now it has to be one of the early Deltics with the die-cast body. Now it can be 3 rail, it can be 2 rail, or it can be either of the liveries that came out in the 1960s, but it has to be one of those, and you get 1 point for that. Well, quite a special one here, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee of 2022, and you see here the West Country number 70 Elizabeth II, and yeah, this was a special edition. There's only 2,500 of these, so if you are an avid collector of Hornby and have one of these, award yourself 1 point. Well, back to some of the earlier locos here. So the rocket, this is a 1963 Stephenson's rocket. Now if you have one of these in your collection, then award yourself 1 point. And just behind the rocket there you can see the box to the Rovex train set, and indeed the train that came in there, the Princess Royal class, the Princess Elizabeth there, with the 2 plungers just underneath the firebox. So if you have one of these models with the plungers, it must have the plungers, award yourself 1 point. Well, right over the far side there, the Evening Star from 1971. So if you have one of these Evening Stars from around about that period, let's say up until the mid-80s, one of these early Evening Stars, give yourself 1 point. Well, one here for the very serious collectors. You can see here these O-gauge models, and just on this side the Clockwork models. So if you have any of the O-gauge collection but not the one released in 2020, give yourself a point. Well, another nice, friendly one. Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. So anything from the Thomas the Tank Engine. It has to be Hornby, but it can be any of the range, and we'll give ourselves a point for that. And Hornby's crowning glory, the live steam models, not steam generator, but actually locos run on steam in 00 scale. And yeah, wonderful, wonderful pieces of engineering. I've said it many times before, but if you have any of these, I think this has got to be worth 2 points. Well, in this cabinet here you can see Coronation at the front there, and the Duchess of Hamilton over the back there. So any of the streamlined LMS locos, that's got to be worth a point. Over the back here, some vintage accessories. We've got the tipper car set, which actually has been re-released, I think, in one of the more latter Hornby ranges, and the Goods Depot kit. So if you have any of these sort of line side kits that are still boxed, that you haven't put on your railway, they can be more modern than the Hornby railways, but they have to be some sort of function, like the crane there, or the tipper car. You can award yourself a point for that. And here we've got a wonderful 8F in 00 on the 3-rail track there. So if you have any locos that run 3-rail, again, a point for that. Well, over the back there, the 1983 West Country Battle of Britain class Spitfire. So I'll accept any of this type of loco with the streamlining on there. A point for those. This one here, 1980s A4 Mallard. So what we'll say is any A4, as long as it's not the Mallard, give yourself a point. Well, it wouldn't be fair not to mention a Hornby TT120. So any of the Hornby TT120 range, 1 point. But down the bottom here we've got this wonderful Hornby 00 train set, and dating, I guess, from about the 1960s. But this one, any train set, so any train set that you have, as long as it's got some track in the box, and at least a loco, and maybe a couple of trucks, similar to this one on the side here, or one with carriages, but can be from any age, we'll award 1 point for that. 4 points here for a Pullman train. So you can see here, this is a 1965 Triang Pullman. I'm just going to make my way over to the other one. And the more modern Pullman here, the 1-to-1 collection, with the, again, the Midland Pullman there in the latter livery. Now I'm going to give 2 points for this. You get 2 points if you have one from the 1960s, and 1 point if you have one of these newer versions of the 1-to-1 collection. And if you have both of them, award yourself 3 points. And finally, a brake van. Do you have a brake van in your collection? Give yourself 1 point. Well, we have the Javelin set here from the 2012 Olympics, and also over the back there, the London Olympics in 1948. So that also came out in 2012. So, if you have anything from the Olympics, award yourself a point, and then give yourself a bonus point if it's still boxed. At the top here, some of the other merchandise that Hornby's produced over the years. You can see this little Triang puff-along train, and just to the side here, these Casey dolls and flower fairies, and yeah, in the cabinet there, the boat. So for a bonus point, if you have anything that Hornby has made that is not one of the core brands, which will be Hornby, Airfix, Corgi or Scalextrics. Well, there you go, I thought I'd try something different, just purely for fun. Add up your points and put a comment down below of what you achieved with your Hornby collection, and yeah, let's see if we get a winner. Obviously no prizes or anything, just for fun, and it was just trying something a little bit different rather than repeating what I've filmed before in the Hornby Visitor Centre here, the wonderful Wonderworks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, something a little bit different there, and yeah, I just sort of try to make my video a little bit more interesting, and rather than just walking around the cabinets. Anyway, if you enjoyed that, please do give it a thumbs up, and why not check out the channel. Lots on there, and if you can subscribe, I'll be very, very grateful. And with that, just before I wrap it up, I remind you to leave your score in the comments, and yeah, I'll wrap it up there and just say thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.